Hello, everybody. Can everyone hear me? Yes. All right. It's been a while since I've done this. We saw everybody witness the murder of one of our brothers, and all I want to say is that every time a black body is harmed, every time one of us witnesses over and over again, one of our sisters, one of our family injured in any way, we feel it inside of ourselves, don't we? Yes. This is a thing that's real, this kinship that we all share as black people throughout this entire country. Every single one of us is familiar with the feeling of pain when we witness somebody pulled over and we wonder if they're going to be all right. Am I right? Yes. Do we stop, or are we afraid? Do we move, or do we move on? Right now, we've been sitting in a state that was literally founded on the blood of millions of Africans dragged here in chains. Every single paving stone, every single building you see on that hill, the goddamn words written on that state house are carved in the blood of our people. And we should remember that. We should honor the fact that the land we're standing on was looted ruthlessly by a person who gets celebrated every day, Roger Williams, who later turned and sold the tribes here into slavery in Barbados. We remember that when we organize for Black Lives, right? Right. We remember Breonna. We remember our trans brothers and sisters who get carved out over and over and over again. Our lives. I had a hard time putting this together. This has been both emotionally difficult, psychologically difficult, and there's a toll on the psyche that all this always takes. And you find yourself dragged back into it over and over again, right? Right. And our silence as people has been taken for acceptance, right? Right. Now I'm going to say something to the black people in the audience. White people might not like it. Just a warning. We have to organize for our own self-defense. Yes. Yes. We cannot count on the police or the state to protect us. We cannot look for solutions inside business or the courts. They have exploited us over and over again and see us as nothing more than a bloody commodity. White culture in this country is defined by its ruthless behavior towards black people and the indigenous. There are no words that can fulfill the promise of white America without seeing them written in the blood of our brothers and sisters who get gunned down in state violence now, but in civic violence before. Right? We watch Nike shoes commodify our dissent over and over again, turning a profit on our words. As black people, we don't have a choice anymore. We don't have a choice. It's been taken away. We pretended for a long time. We appealed to God. We appealed to reason. We appealed to state. We appealed to the law. All of us have been abandoned. All of us. From Katrina, with our thousands of brothers and sisters left to rot in the sun, to Rosewood, to Black Wall Street, to George Spinney, executed at 13 years old. When have we found solace inside white laws, white justice, and white systems of support? When? And this is the challenge here. I see a lot of well-meaning white people And I believe you're earnest when you show up. However, well, we're going to get to that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
When we enjoy places that we don't have access to, you're practicing privilege. And that privilege is an act of violence against our bodies. When we break those lines of privilege, we put ourselves at risk. 85% of all black people in Rhode Island live within 2 miles of each other. Think about that. 85% of our brothers and sisters live within 2 miles of each other. Diluting our political power, diluting our energy, diluting our time. If we should leave the Providence plantation, we risk arrest, we risk being disappeared into a system that will be merciless to our families and to our souls. And you know that to be true. We don't have access. We don't have access to all of Rhode Island. We don't have access to all of the country. What we have access to is each other. As black people, our only choices that are remaining to us, because we have been abandoned by well-meaning white liberals, apologies to you, but it's true. We've been abandoned by our educational institutions, where they put cops at the doorway. We've been abandoned by systems of support, where they put armed state policemen in a metal detector for mothers collecting food for their children.
Right.
How is that ours?
Right.
Where is us in this? I'm going to make a statement that's going to be bold, it's going to be angry, and you've got to be ready for it.
Be bold.
Yeah.
Black lives matter,
Be angry.
and that's going to be true. But I'm going to say this, that every drop of blood that is spilt by us, every bruise that we feel when a club comes down on our head, every time the handcuff clicks closed, every time we're denied a job, every time, every single time, the price for that should be so high for white America that they will think twice about looking at us again. We need black formation for black self-defense. You hear that?
Facts.
We need black formation for black self-defense. We don't need activists.
No, too many.
We don't need people posting on Facebook. We need partisans. We need warriors. We need men and women who are willing to do the work to liberate our people, because right now we are a colonized people. And the way you throw off the yoke of a colony is you overthrow it. You throw it away and you build it new. I know I'm going on for too long. I'm just going to point out a few facts. There has been no advance in democracy. There's been no advance in democracy that didn't come with the blood of black people.
Talk about it.
There's been nothing that has been gained that white people benefit from that hasn't been built by the sweat, organizing effort, intellectual brilliance, and creativity of our black brothers and sisters. All of it. Without us, white male landowners would be the only ones still voting. And you know that's true. Without us, you know that children with disabilities wouldn't have access to public school. And you know that's true. Without us, we know that white women wouldn't have access to college education or to jobs. And you know that's true. We have the receipts, and we have the blood, and we have the history. Now we have to let it go. Let go of the idea that we're going to win over our white brothers and sisters. They can join us if they want to, but they got to do the goddamn work to do it. I'm so serious about apologies, and this is no joke. Is that the time has passed, long past, when we talk about black resilience and black endurance. If I hear one more person talking about how we endure and how we go on, I don't know. I don't know. There's a limit. There is a limit. And that limit has been reached. Black brothers and sisters of all stripes, everyone has been threatened at some point. There is not a brother or sister here who can't tell me about an experience where their lives were threatened by some white authority. And I know that's true.
Talk about it!
How? How do we move from that? The way I see it is that we only have a couple of options left to us. We sat down, we kneeled, we prayed, we showed up, we worked, and we're left with our lifeless bodies on the side of the road. And you know that that's true. So what's left to us? Organize outside of the power of the state. Organize for our own institution, control of our own schools. How many people here went to Providence Public Schools? How many of y'all had a black teacher? One? Maybe. Right? The Providence School District is majority people of color. It should look like us. It's time it looked like us. The public expenditure that happens in the city is decisions made because they know we don't have power because all of us live within 2 square miles of each other. They can do what they want, and they're going to do what they want. So what are our options? Do we say, we'll just get along with it, show up like this every few months?
Hell no!
Hell no.
Hell no!
Or do we start to withdraw our energy and our labor and say, you don't get black people. You don't get us. You don't get to use us. You don't get to take our pain. You don't get to take our creative energy. You don't get to take our love. You don't get to take our joy and turn it around and use it as a weapon against us. Those days are over. It is time for us as black people to organize for our individual and collective self-defense against a murderous police department. And believe me, every police department is murderous. They're just choosing not to be at the moment. In Providence, right now, there's a policeman named Officer Sheridan, who is a brutalist.
Fuck him.
Who goes, who tortures, beats, and yet nothing. The police union has been defending this man, sorry, brother.
Here, no,
This
fuck him,
man
brother.
for years. And yet, they walk around with more power today than they did yesterday. How is that possible?
Right.
Did we let it happen? No. It was done to us because we're an occupied people, and it's time to take that occupation back. I'm calling for nothing less than an American Intifada. Black people withdrawing and resisting every step of the way, every aspect of white supremacy, from bosses to landlords to judges to cops to the cab driver on the street. All of them do not get to use us. Not anymore. And I'm saying this in the memory of all of our brothers and sisters, all of our insulted and humiliated family over the years. I'm not talking about resilience, I'm talking about freedom. And it's time that we took it, and we take it by organizing ourselves into our own and for our own self-defense. I'm sorry it wasn't a happier message.
Amen. Keep going, brother.
But I'm hoping that all of you are with me in this.
Keep going, Mike. Keep going. Get it off, man. Get it off the chest. Get it off, Mike. Come on, brother. Come on, Mike. Let's go.
You know that the last week has been an alteration, like an alternating between tears, anger, fear, sorrow. But then we saw our brothers and sisters in cities around this country conquering land. We saw them taking back police stations. and turning them into their own free territory. That's a reconquest of our land. That should belong to us.
That's right.
We paid for it.
Right.
That's right.
Let's take it back.
Right.
Take it back. Take it back. Take it back. Take it back.